Hello and welcome. This is the news on NTA International. I am Vivian Ezadifi. Let's begin with the headlines. Federal government raises concern over data breaches and identity fraud. Begins implementation of new consular biometric data verification policy. Nigerian Society of Engineers seeks policy direction to drive over 3 trillion blue economy markets. Wants Nigeria to dominate African marine transformation. Plus, after 80 years of atomic bombing, Japan's Prime Minister joins survivors for solemn peace ceremony. President Donald Trump's sweeping new tariffs have taken effect against dozens of countries, including South Africa. President Trump began imposing higher import taxes on numerous countries. The economic fallout from months of tariff threats is now starting to visibly impact the U.S. economy. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa confirmed he spoke with Trump ahead of the steep 30% tariffs set to take effect on some South African export to the U.S. starting Friday. According to Ramaphosa's office, the two leaders committed to continuing further discussions. Several African nations are hopeful they can still negotiate these tariff rates, which risks worsening unemployment in countries already struggling with high joblessness. South Africa believes dialogue remains possible despite criticism from the Trump administration, which has halted aid to Africa's most diverse economy, citing concerns over what it calls anti-white and anti-American policies. Neighboring countries Botswana and Lesotho also expressed hopes to renegotiate better terms. Lesotho, a small mountainous country, faced a proposed 50% tariff that was later reduced to 15%. However, Lesotho says this rate still threatens thousands of jobs and businesses in its vital clothing sector, which manufactures and exports well-known brands such as Levi's to the American markets. Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba joined survivors, officials and mourners in Nagasaki on Saturday for a solemn peace ceremony commemorating the 80th anniversary of the city's atomic bombing.
Twin cathedral bells rang in unison Saturday in Japan's Nagasaki for the first time since the atomic bombing of the city 80 years ago, commemorating the moment of horror. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba said 80 years have passed, and who could have imagined that the world would become like this? He added that as the only nation to have suffered from the atomic bomb in war, it is their mission to take the lead in international efforts to achieve a world free of nuclear war and nuclear weapons. The ceremony began shortly after heavy morning rain subsided, with a moment of silence, after which Nagasaki's mayor, Shiro Suzuki, urged the world to stop armed conflict immediately. At 11:02 a.m. on August 9, 1945, 3 days after the nuclear attack on Hiroshima that killed an estimated 140,000 people, the United States dropped an atomic bomb on Nagasaki, claiming about 74,000 lives. Days later, on August 15, 1945, Japan surrendered, marking the end of World War II. Historians have debated whether the bombing ultimately saved lives by bringing an end to the conflict and averting a ground invasion. Comforts, Fashim, NTA News.
Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan in New Alamein City, with both leaders firmly rejecting the occupation of the Gaza Strip and the forced displacement of Palestinians. Comfort Fashion again has more on that.
The meeting in New Alamein City addressed the situation in the Gaza Strip, where both Turkey and Egypt emphasized their rejection of renewed military occupation of the enclave. They also stressed the necessity of an immediate ceasefire and allowing the humanitarian aid in, while strongly opposing the forced displacement of Palestinians. According to a statement issued by the Egyptian presidency, the meeting followed Israel's Security Cabinet approval of a plan for full control over Gaza early Friday. This decision came amid expanding Israeli military operations, despite growing international condemnation of the nearly 2-year devastating war. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said through his spokesperson Friday that Israel's Gaza control plan was a dangerous escalation that risked worsening conditions for ordinary Palestinians.
The Secretary General is gravely alarmed by the decision of the Israeli government to take control of Gaza City. The decision marks a dangerous escalation and risks deepening the already catastrophic consequences for millions of Palestinians. It could further endanger more lives, including the lives of the remaining hostages.
Several Arab countries, including the UAE, Egypt, Qatar, Oman, Palestine and Jordan, joined by Turkey and Western countries such as Germany, Italy, New Zealand and Australia, along with the United Nations Security Council President and the European Commission President, strongly condemned and denounced Israeli government's decision to occupy the Gaza Strip. Comforts, Fashion, NTA News.
I'm back home now. As part of efforts to curb identity fraud, data breaches and deter security risks globally, the federal government is implementing a new consular biometric data verification policy. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Toga, who disclosed this, says through a verified platform with interagency support, the ministry has officially approved as FAR.ng, a digital platform for verification of Nigerian travelers. Yusuf Tuga, who was presented with an overview of the system's features, including real-time data processing for destinations such as the Gulf and Arab countries, a key destination for Nigerian travelers and businesses.
We urge you to designate liaison officers to interface with asfar.ng, who seamlessly connect with Nigeria's Identity Management Commission, NIMC, and other relevant agencies to conduct verification as a mandatory part of your application process for Nigerian citizens.
The minister highlighted the mutual benefits of the framework, reinforcing visa integrity, trust, and compliance. However, it remains optional for individual countries to key into the initiative. While implementation is in process, Lebanon's ambassador suggests a bilateral agreement to further ease consular services and processes with partner countries to enhance travel security. Vice President Kashim Shettima attended the wedding of Aisha, the daughter of Shehu Aliu, a former executive director with a commercial bank, and Muhammad Jalil Muazu Babangida Aliu, son of the former Niger State governor, which took place at the National Mosque, Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that the solemnization was initiated at the mosque by the Chief Imam, Dr. Muhammad Kabir Adam, along other imams. Vice President Kashim Shettima stood in for the bride, Aisha Shehu Aliu, and Muazu Babangida Aliu for the groom, Muhammad Jalal, with prayers offered for the blessing of the marriage. Muhammad Jalal tied the knot with Aisha Shehu Aliu after the payment of 400,000 naira as dowry. The family of Audu Innocent Obe has announced the death of the former Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Adebe Obe. Chief Audu Obe's eldest son confirmed to NTA News that his father passed away peacefully in his sleep early Saturday morning at the family home in Asokoro, Abuja. Musa Baba reflects on the life and contributions of Audu Obe to the nation.
The family of Audu Innocent Ogbe, his political and business associates, are in mourning. The elder statesman passed away this Saturday at the age of 78.
He said he needed rest, and he lay down, and this morning, at the early hours of the morning, he peacefully left.
During NTA's visit to the Ogbe's residence, close family members and associates gathered to offer condolences. Among the early callers was former Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed.
In the legacy Audu left behind, his legacy of service to nation, legacy of patriotism, and he left behind a legacy of hard work wherever he was.
His family described him as a devoted husband, father and grandfather, whose principled leadership touched countless lives and advanced Nigeria's development.
He's a wonderful man, he's a gentleman, he's a kind man, he has a big heart.
Born on July 28, 1947 in Otukpo, Benue State, Audu Ogbe's distinguished career spanned the academia, the agricultural industry and politics, leaving an enduring legacy of integrity and service. Audu Ogbe served as Minister of Agriculture from 2015 to 2019 under President Muhammadu Buhari, where he championed agricultural reforms and food security initiatives.
And we have to learn that if we enrich the rural areas through agriculture and agro-industry, we can enjoy peace and prosperity.
He previously held ministerial roles under President Shehu Shagari during the Second Republic, serving as Minister of Communications and State Development in the early 80s. His political career also included serving as the PDP National Chairman from 2001 to 2005. He was a graduate of the King's College Lagos, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, and the University of Toulouse, France. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu condoles with the government and people of Benue State on the passing of the former chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Chief Audu Obe. President Tinubu also commiserates with the late statesman's family, friends and associates. Chief Obe, who was 78 years old, served Nigeria in several administrations, including as Minister of Communications in the Second Republic and later as Minister of Agriculture under President Muhammadu Buhari. President Tinubu acknowledges Chief Obe's intellectual contributions to policy formulation and his articulation of practical solutions to complex national challenges. The President recognizes that Chief Obe, who joined politics in the 70s as a legislator, was a founding member of the All Progressives Congress. The President prays that the Almighty God will receive the departed souls and comfort his family. Governor Hyacinth Alia receives with sadness the news of the passing of elder statesman, patriarch and former Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Chief Audu Obe, at the age of 78. Governor Alia expresses regret over the death of the former lawmaker who was elected into the Benue State House of Assembly on the platform of the National Party of Nigeria, MPN, in 1979, where he served as the Deputy Speaker. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the governor states that as a politician, former Minister of Communications, former Minister of Steel Development, former Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, farmer and playwright, the late Chief Obe lived a successful life. He prays that God grants his immediate family, the Idoma nation, and Nigeria the fortitude to bear the loss and grants the soul of Chief Audu Obe eternal rest. Nigeria has the potential to lead Africa's sustainable marine transformation to tap into the global 3 trillion blue economy markets. To achieve this, policy direction and adoption of key technologies are inevitable. Kelvin Ebonai reports that this was the focus of the conference to wrap up the 15th Engineering Week of the Nigerian Society of Engineers in Abuja.
About 80% of the global trade is transported through the sea, making countries with vast coastal lines sitting on huge economic resource. Nigeria, with renewed vigor to revitalize its blue economy sector, will require more than just policies, but application of appropriate technologies to drive the sector to its full potential. The engineering strategies for achieving this is what this conference, put together by the Nigerian Society of Engineers Maitama branch, is exploring.
So my challenge for us engineers in this room today is that there are opportunities, and the opportunities are vast for Nigeria. And I think we keep saying we're a blessed country. We have almost everything that we need. A blessed country, with vast coastlines, fisheries, ports, modernization, and coastal resilience. Smart infrastructure powered by innovation and technology is the bedrock of sustainable economies, and a blue economy encompassing activities that harness ocean and inland water resources represent a frontier Nigeria must explore.
The theme for the conference was Smart Infrastructure for Sustainable Development, Engineering Strategies for Nigeria Blue Economic Transformation. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
We'll bring you more reports after this time out. Stay with us. Welcome back. In continuation of its efforts at providing basic skills to local emergency management committees to swiftly respond to any emerging flood disasters, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has launched another simulation exercise in Kebbi State. The exercise was launched in Duku town around the banks of River Argungu. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
The exercise practically displayed how a flood victim can be cared for in the event of flooding after rescue, to medical attention and camping, as well as provision of food and non-food items for the upkeep of the victims. Local divers, the military, Nigerian Red Cross Society, Road Safety Corps, Civil Defense Corps, and the local emergency management committees, as well as state servers, all participated in the exercise. NEMA's Director General Zubaida Umar said the reason for the exercise is to equip local and state emergency management committees with the requisite knowledge as first responders to effectively manage the situations.
Just like we have trained them over the last 5 days, they should expect to be able to become first responders before the state government steps in and the federal government as well. And as you can see, we covered other states. It wasn't just Kebbi that was here. Other states like Niger, Sokoto, Zamfara were all present. And we look forward to better coordination.
And we still call on the state governments to make sure that they collaborate with NEMA, that is the SEMA, and even the LEMSs, the local emergency committees. They need to work together so that we avoid this flooding that has been ravaging communities in the riverine area.
Kebbi State Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs, Mohammed Hamidu, thanked the DG NEMA for the wake-up call, promising to downscale the knowledge acquired to all communities in the state.
Indeed, the successful flag-off of the flood disaster response simulation exercise CMEX is a testament to the governor's deep concern for the well-being of every citizen.
Experts say, with the willingness and determination being exhibited by the local and state emergency management committees, flood disasters across the country will be effectively mitigated. From Birni Kebbi in Kebbi State, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Environment, in partnership with Refabricate Africa, has unveiled an initiative known as the Cloth Bank. This forward-thinking project aims to reduce the emission of toxic gases generated by textile wastes. Charles Alpha has more on that.
Textiles in landfills and dump sites. Most times when burnt are believed to contain certain gas elements that is released into the atmosphere, impacting health and the environment. But from the usual practice of buying, using and dumping to a more purposeful approach, the Federal Ministry of Environment and Fabricate Africa are creating an avenue for recycling textile waste into a more sustainable venture, particularly for those who need them.
They are harmful to both human health and the environment. So having this program will really set the pace for circular economy, because we are reusing and we are recycling.
We send to people who are already in our community who are upcyclers. They reform these clothes and then send back to Grace Smile Foundation. Now, Grace Smile Foundation ensure that, mothers who are to give birth shortly have access to good clothes.
We hope to empower them through this, because when we collect the waste, we're not just collecting it just to keep, or collecting them to transform them into reusable items, and we need people to, carry that out. So we intend to train women, youth, to be able to do this upcycling. It's not a common thing like that in Nigeria.
Program Director Tomishe Johnson believes the Cloth Bank marks a significant step in Nigeria's fight against climate change and waste pollution, as it aligns with its circular economic drive and environmental sustainability goals, creating economic opportunities for women and youth.
Just imagine if you go to the landfill, over 5% of landfill materials are textile materials. So you see that it's affecting the earth already. At Refab Africa, we are solving that problem in collaboration with Ministry of Environment and with other NGOs.
The Cloth Bank will be domiciled with the Ministry of Environment for collection of textile waste, with plans to expand to other parts of the country. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Skill acquisition is the engine of future innovation, and in a world rapidly evolving, experts say early exposure can spark lifelong transformation. The Architects Registration Council of Nigeria, AGON, in collaboration with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, organized a hands-on skill acquisition for 150 students of the School of Architectural Technicians, Kuje.
The Summer Skills Acquisition Camp is aimed at exposing young minds with technical and architectural skills. APCON President Dr. Dipo Ajayi stressed the importance of introducing children early to vocational skills, especially by professionals.
It's going to be a continuous one from the younger ones, middle one, to the retirees in the future. True, you can see this service, very big. We have the testing laboratory, the hostel, hall, the computer buildings. We are going to do all trades, testing of materials.
Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Musa Dangewa, who was represented at the occasion, said the ministry is investing in the future of Nigerian workforce and wants the program replicated across the federation.
It's an initiative that directly aligns with the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which envisions a Nigeria where no child is left behind.
Chairman of the occasion, who was represented by Dr. Latif Mohammed, encouraged more youth-focused technical education across Nigeria.
Here today, because we recognize a simple truth. A nation that fails to equip its youths with relevant skills is a failed nation.
Royal Father of the Day, the Governor of Kuje, Dr. Haruna Tanko Jibril, urged children to take advantage of the opportunity.
In our skill acquisition, the younger ones, you are listening now. This meeting is organized for you. And you should open your ear very well and listen to what the seniors are saying.
ACON registrar tasked the students to make the best use of the opportunity and appreciated the Royal Father and the Minister of Housing for their unwavering support to the success of the program.
Make sure you have apart from this, make sure you have your 6 credits. At the stage you are coming now, they call it access. You move to stage 1, 2, 3, 4 based on your qualification. When you finish your secondary school, this is not the end of it. This will continue.
The 3-week program is exposing the students to masonry, plumbing, tiling, painting, and interior design. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
And that's the news on NTA International. Thanks for watching. I am Vivian Izadifi.